My features are beautiful.
Radiant.
Magnificent.
Excellence.
Everything.
Hi friends, I'm C.
And I'm Brittany.
Welcome to the Body Representation Series podcast, a series that's dedicated to
Desirable.
Important. And strong.
Women of different shapes, sizes, women sharing their stories.
My skin is my armor.
Of what it's like to be in their bodies.
Also a weapon.
Every body deserves to be represented.
Inclusivity, yeah. Hi, friends. We are back with the Body Representation Series podcast. I am Brittany.
I'm Christina.
And we're here with our special guest.
Hey, and I'm Blue.
All right, and we're going to talk to you Fat Girl Summer, Fat Girl Liberation, and all things hot. So before we get started, I want to go around and let everybody know what's going on with your summer. What are your plans? What's the tea? What do you have set up?
Nothing.
Listen, that sounds wonderful to me personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Working. Because, summer stops when you graduate high school.
Oh.
So I've just been working. I've been with family, though. I can appreciate that. It feels like when summer happens, that's when life want a life.
Yeah.
That's when I want a life the most. Because it feels like, oh, bitch, you got lots of time. You got time in your hand. So we can life right now. So life has been doing that. But I've been spending a lot of time with family. Not too many trips coming up. I think I'm going to try to go to DC because I always enjoy going up there. Trying to find a pool and be in somebody's water.
Okay.
That's about the gist of summer. Happy to be here with y'all.
Okay.
Yeah, always some summer fun. Yeah. We have some. They don't even know about this. This is gonna be a little surprise for the people. But some stuff we trying to do over the summer. Some little things we trying to get popping for the summer.
Yeah.
And what about you, good sis?
Well, always got something going on.
We love that.
I keep that hot.
You just got back from a trip,
and I just got back from South Carolina.
A brand trip.
Yes, and it was really fun. So it started off as we're going down there to work. We're going down there to get content. And it turned into this Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Everybody found themselves and their feelings. I mean, we did work, but it just was a really needed girls trip. All of us needed a moment, and it was super dope. And there's a lot of history in Charleston, and it was really pretty. So good food, good time. And other than that, just, really working. I've been working with Allie, so that's been kind of cool. Excited to get back out here with Christina, and then something about ATL, here in a couple months or something. So I'm pretty excited.
I love
that. We're traveling and we're single.
Okay. I loved watching that brand trip because I feel
pressure.
I know you said that things get kind of I know you said that things get emotional sometimes, and I think that is just a testament to how good of a team that you're building and how good of a group that you guys have. So I think about that, and I think when you're with people and you're isolated, it's just you guys, and you don't have any of those outside influences of hurrying back home, hurrying back to work. I think it makes for a really good centered trip.
It was really good. And then something that's really taboo for me is I have a really dope relationship with God, but I don't talk about it all the time. I'm really private about it. And I think for me, it's because I'm always in fear of this judgment because I'm so loud and sexual and all of these things that I just am, you know what I mean? But then sometimes I think that when you're talking about God, people feel that you should look or be a certain way. So then I don't really know how to be in that space. But this, I feel God was just kind of they need this, so you need to do this. And so it allowed me to be able to kind of overcome something I needed to as well. Just to be
you just gave an episode.
Come on.
You just gave an episode.
Come on, friend.
I'm going to write this in my notes.
Come on, friend. And I just I was I shouldn't be ashamed to be everything that I am and be okay with having a relationship with God because God is my homie and it's cool. And so I got an opportunity to fellowship with them and kind of speak to them a little bit about what I know about God and what he's done for me. So it was really dope.
I love that.
Yeah, it was dope.
But I think with God there's a vulnerability that comes, because I think with religion we think that people are supposed to be a certain way, right? So if somebody tells you they're Jewish, you have a picture of what Judaism looks like. And so when you hear like of a black woman Jew with long braids, you're like, oh, okay, well, let's talk about this. And I think too that creates a door when you have somebody, like I always talk about my cousin who's officiating our wedding. I say he's not a regular pastor, he's a cool pastor. And not like in the cool, like faking cool kind of way. Just like this is who he is. He just happens to be a messenger. And I think that when you have that kind of authenticity and you maybe are on like a side of the sexual spectrum that maybe a lot of Christians are not, I think that creates people that are in the middle to be able to have like a freeness.
Yeah, and I think that people also, like, not to get too far off on it, but I mean, I think people also forget, like, one of the main things about God is that, like, he uses people where they are. I think a lot of Christians and just a lot of people in general don't really realize that, like, God accepts people where they are, like, regardless of what that is, your sexuality, your lifestyle, I mean, your wrongs or your rights or your faults. Like, he used people that were murderers and thieves and that he knew was going to do him wrong, and that, like, and he still used them. You know what I mean? Like, so you're still usable right where you are. Like, you don't have to wait. Like, I don't have to be a certain type of way to have a relationship. Like, it's just about starting one and having faith. And I think that when people can just accept that part, then it would be easier for them to, like, find their own way into whatever that relationship looks like for them. Yeah,
I totally agree. And I'm really glad that you were able to find, because I think community is really important.
Yeah.
So while you do have this great relationship, it's also great to have people who affirm that relationship too.
Absolutely.
So I feel like you've kind of created that for yourself. So I love that you had like a really great trip.
Yeah,
it
really
cool.
It
was you could see it honestly in the photos and everything. You could just see that you guys were having just a great time.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really dope. As somebody who grew up in the church, well, I say grew up later in life because I didn't grow up from a child, but from a teenager up to adulthood. When you're not in that environment anymore and trying to find a new way to still, I don't want to say be religious, because I don't. Religion by definition is an organizational thing. Well, that's not the definition, but you know what y'all know.
Yeah, we know what you mean.
So trying to find like, well, what does my community, what does my spiritual community look like?
Right.
Because it doesn't look the same as it did growing up in that church and in that environment. So it is, but because we don't talk about it that much because of the what people assume, like, oh, this is what a good Christian.
And I've
looks
thought
like.
about that a lot, just with like my platform and stuff like that. I'm like, maybe if I just say like, hey, this is who I am and I have a relationship with God and like it's okay and we can talk about it. I think that a lot of people might, like, because when we were on that trip, you know what I mean? Shout out to Allie, you know what I mean? Like, she just like was like, she said to me afterwards, like, I really felt like God used you in a place where I really needed like you beautiful. To be. And it was just like, it's that, you know what I mean? It's just about like being like, you know what? I don't have to feel bad about like, or like, where do I even start when I'm praying? Where do I even, you know what I mean? Like, those are things that like people that are in our community, bisexual, lesbian, or like, do the things that we do that are not necessarily the example of being Christian. We have a hard time even finding that fellowship and where to even start and who to even lean on or talk to, like to take accountability, for a relationship or being in our word, or, you know what I mean? Because the truth about it is like the relationship with God helps us grow. You know what I mean? It's humbling. You know what I mean? Like, he created us. Like, who knows us better? You know what I mean? What direction? It like is my like lifeline to self-love. You know what I mean? When I'm looking for, because the world's not always going to pour into you the way that you need them to. You know what I mean? Who better to pour into you than who created you? So, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that, like, we need a safe place to maybe have those conversations to where we can talk about like, where do we start? What does this look like? Like, to feed into you so that people that maybe are curious about having a relationship or just maybe are like unsure what that looks like for them, like they have a space to be able to be like, oh, okay, well, if she can have a relationship with God and that's what it looks like, I can too, and be cool with that. It's cool. And I cuss and I have sex and smoke weed and I love Jesus and it's fine.
Well, you heard it here, folks.
My whole thing was like, if if this is what it is, and I think I lean more agnostic than I do Christian. Like, I know that there is somebody, something up there that, you know, is looking out for me, that cares for me, because I wouldn't be here if not. I just don't know if it's that blue-eyed white man. I just don't know, friend. And so I think too, sometimes there is a place that doesn't allow people to ask questions.
Right.
And so I think that, you know, being somebody who is just so open, you're going to allow for some people to really ask questions. And I know you're kind of contemplating what that looks like in your content, but I will say the thing that I love most about the internet, but specifically when we talked about TikTok, is I think that TikTok specifically is a place that allows your people to find you.
Yeah.
Because the algorithm is so smart.
That's true.
So if there are people in there that are liking twerk videos, but they're also liking, you know, Sarah, what's her name? Sarah TD Jake's daughter. Sarah Jakes Roberts videos.
Yeah.
You know, then those people can come together and find you. And I think that that's a really cool thing. And then I think also with the way that it is designed and the way that you design your content, it doesn't niche you into anything.
But
it
yeah,
just
into
lets you
any
be,
certain,
you know, this is who
Yep.
it is. So look forward to that, you know,
Yeah,
spiritual
we had
content from our good
yeah,
sis.
Just had a
Love
little
that.
moment here, a little very unexpected moment, but I enjoyed that. Thank
Yeah.
you for talking about that.
Yeah, no
And,
problem.
And I ain't got no summer plans, y'all. You know, just getting married. You know, no big deal.
Nothing. Just getting a whole husband.
Just very stressed. I had Mexico the first week in June, Los Angeles the third week in June, Vegas the first week of July.
Come on, travel queen.
And then my shower is in 2 weeks, and my best friend's shower is in 3 weeks. The Saturday before we get married. So
Rude of her.
if my eyes
rude
glaze
of
over, that's
her.
why I'm asleep.
We have a queen
Truly.
that travels though, but I seen the pictures from Mexico. You looked smashing.
Thank
bro.
you.
I was like, look at my friend being happy and about to get married.
I mean, that's why I know how you felt when you were talking about being with Allie and Kai, because it's just like, it's one of those things where I got there and I was just like, oh, this is like where I'm supposed to be.
yeah,
and
it
I
just made sense.
And I didn't think that my bachelorette party would be something that I would come back and be like, I feel restored. I feel, you know, I feel all of these big emotions. I just thought we were going to like party, get wasted and come home.
be drunk and
that
was it.
And instead we were like, you know, crying at our like 7-course meal because, you know, you're just so grateful to be there. And so I totally get it. And it's a really, like you said, it's humbling.
Yeah.
Like, you know, as the further we get into this, and like as you know, things like gifts come in, or you know, people who are across the country that you're just like convinced that they're not coming, and they're like, no, I booked my flight. What do you mean?
Right.
Like, where else
I'm
would
on
I
my
be?
way. Yeah.
And it's just so, especially in like where the economy is and where just the world is in general. I just think it has made us feel really, really special. But if I have any advice to either of you, if you ever decide to get married, elope, destination, don't like get married, find your person, love that, but don't do the wedding situation. It's just not worth it. I love it. We're gonna have a great day.
We hear you, friend, and I'm sure a bunch of other people are here. And guess what they still gonna do?
They still gonna do
They gonna
it,
still have that
and that's
motherfucker
fine.
wedding.
And well, the lady say, I'm gonna do what I want because that's just how I am.
What that other girl say on TikTok when she be doing the Jesus videos and she got God be like convicted her? She's like, I'm gonna find out for myself.
And people said the same thing to
Thanks,
me
bye.
about
Bye.
2.5 years ago. They were like, friend, just go to Jamaica. You know, don't you love the Caribbean? I'm like, no, I want to have my moment.
The moment has came and now
It's came and
it's just like, you know.
I feel more excited to get into the shower. The shower is like, 2 weeks out from the wedding. So it's like, okay, everything will be kind of like on the roll then.
But while we're here though, let's revisit the dress, because I remember the last time you were like, I'm not sure about
Yeah.
like, because I know you had to have it resized and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So how is that? Like, is everything good? What's
She
going on?
slayed it.
Come on, Slade.
She killed it.
Love that.
I'll show you guys a photo after we get off air.
Photo will be inserted
Here.
Depends on when the episode drops. Good sis.
No,
yeah.
Maybe not.
actually,
TBD on my
we'll follow
Instagram.
up.
We're gonna have a super special wedding episode for us to talk about the bridal industry and representation and all that within the bridal industry. So
Really
you'll
excited
actually
about that.
by that time be able to see
Yeah.
the whole day.
Oh,
We'll have all the
whole
things.
shindig, the
Yeah.
whole
That'll be real
day,
good.
And
I'm
I-
looking forward
And I
to
have
that.
a little bit of content from just different things. And as we were going through, like I said, my cousin got married as well. So like shopping for her dress was a whole experience. She's also plus size. So, but she decided to go the straight size route for shopping. And so seeing that like difference in her shopping experience was just very like, okay, it was validating, because it was like I picked my dress. So for those of you who don't know, I picked my dress on the first day of shopping. It was the 5th dress that I tried on, and there were no other dresses for me. And I came in the store. So if you want a sneak peek of the dress, Blue actually wore it on the cover of Cincinnati Style Report. It's on both of their Instagrams. She wore it in black and the other model wore it in white. Yep. I am not cool enough to wear a black wedding dress. Maybe in my another life when I marry Travis McCoy, shout out to Gym Class Heroes. Hey. Then I'll wear a black dress.
We love a good
biracial king. Don't worry. Don't worry.
We love a good black.
But no, the dress turned out really good. So I ordered a size 30 dress size. And then when I got it, she had about 2 fistfuls of fabric on either side of me. Couldn't even walk around in it because it was so big and heavy. Couldn't even hold it up. It was that big. So the last time I tried it on was the first time I looked in the mirror. I was like, oh, she's an 18.
Yeah.
She's not a 22 anymore. She's definitely giving 18.
Yeah.
And it was just weird because I see myself in the mirror all the time. Like I don't not look at myself. Like I have a mirror literally, like you come out of my bathroom ass naked. There's a mirror looking at you.
You never see it though.
I just didn't see it. And I felt it in my clothes. Like I felt it in my body, but like seeing it in the mirror was like totally different. So long story short, the dress is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. If we can get this blush or this veil here on time, then we'll be doing really good. But that's an episode for our bridal episode, a conversation for our bridal episode. So you have to make sure you come back for that. My best friend Renata will be joining us for that episode. So that will come out later in the fall. And we'll be right back. We're going to talk a little bit of Fat Girl Summer, some fat liberation, and let you know where exactly you had us fucked up at.
Hey friend, this episode is sponsored in part by Brittany with the Brushes, your local licensed beauty bestie, specializing in all things beauty. You can book your appointment today at BrittanyWithTheBrushes.com or follow us on TikTok and Instagram at BrittanyWithTheBrushes. Now back to the show.
We're black and blue.
And I'm coming to all the barbecues. And Mark.
I just tickled myself. Okay, so we had to get a little giggle out before we're about to talk big shit.
Okay.
Because
money.
We need to let y'all know, some of y'all specifically, where you had us fucked up at. But I'm going to let Christina start, just because I feel like she's a great place to start. And then we'll jump in and get our stomps and get our licks in as well.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you just called me negative or a bitch. I don't know what you just tried to call me.
No, I called you like articulate. And I wanted you to address so that I could go back and so I could be like Lil Jon.
Say I'm scolded it.
I was trying to be your hype man. I was trying to be your favorite Flav. I was trying to hype in like,
yeah.
Or like Alaska when they did that stand up. Yes.
Done. You have to if you know, you know.
Oh, okay. Where the have you fucked up, friend?
Let me take a swallow. Because if it ain't nothing that's gonna have you fucked up more than anything in life, is a motherfucker with audacity. Is a person. What do the girls say?
It's on clearance.
A little Delulu.
Delulu.
A little Delulu.
Not Delulu.
Because these motherfuckers are delusional. They have to be. You have to be, right? You can't be real. Like, I mean, it is real, but like, you can't.
No, that motherfucker back there is not real. I don't know what you're gonna do, but I get the fuck on this brain. That's another one where I had to tell y'all, shut the fuck up. That lady did not see no fucking demons. She was drunk. You haven't spent enough time around drunk white women if you don't understand that that lady was drunk off her ass.
But she gave us the content we deserved for this summer. And
not real. Yeah. Sorry.
And so, you know, I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't really want to talk about Keke Palmer's situation or the Jonah Hill situation because I feel like I don't do rich people's business. I feel like rich people's business it's different. It's not ours because I don't understand why rich people get on the internet to tell us anything in the first place. I don't know why.
You couldn't pay
but
here.
But because I do enjoy Keke Palmer, I do also know that this is a situation that many of us can relate to. We've all dated it. 3 women sitting here, we've all dated at least one motherfucker who was a little
absolutely
delulu, as they like to call it.
Absolutely.
And I have notes because if you have ADHD, you know that you don't remember shit.
Shout out to the neurospicy crowd.
So I have to write my notes down because I won't remember. The thought will come in the note. It'll leave after I said it. So we've talked about before, like how multiple things can be true at the same time. And I feel like in the world we live in today, a lot of people struggle with this concept. They struggle with multiple truths. They really see things as just like, this is it, this is the situation, and that's it, point blank, period. And that's not it. Multiple things can be true at the same time. And I say that to say, first off, this is more specifically talking about Jonah Hill. Because that one, it didn't like hit me immediately what bothered me. Because he said certain things in this nice way, right? His text about like, these are my boundaries, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, well, he's not talking to her disrespectfully, you know? But then I was like, well, wait a minute. If you met me in this place and then you decided that you wanted to switch up, don't try to switch me up if I didn't ask to be switched up. And so we can acknowledge that one thing can be true. You can talk to me respectfully. You can acknowledge your boundaries with me, and you don't have to be disrespectful with me. And the same thing can be true that you're trying to manipulate me, you're trying to control me, and you're trying to get your way out of a situation and make yourself look good. And motherfuckers like Jonah Hill will go to therapy, and they'll learn a couple big words, and they'll learn boundaries. They'll learn that word, but they won't learn what that concept means. Because a boundary means, I don't want my bitch walking around in bikinis. So guess what? I don't date bitches who walk around in bikinis. It does not mean I don't like people who walk around in bikinis. So therefore, I'm going to tell the girl who her literal job is to be in somebody's pool all day or whatever the girl does. And then go and tell her, well, you need to change that because I don't like that. But if I say it in a nice enough way, then I'm not the bad guy. So I think upon hearing more things, I was like, wow, a lot of us have been in those type of situations. Like a lot of us have been manipulated in that way, that somebody will talk to you respectfully and they'll talk to you in a certain way that be having you, well, wait a minute. Am I wrong? Like, I think they call it gaslighting. Is that the word we're going to use here?
I mean, that's what I was going to say, only because, like, listen, I've had my fair share of that. And that is really what, like, was triggering for me about that situation was like, I'm like, this is like a literal life experience, like dead ass. Like you're sitting here and you're like making it seem like this is but like you're already in this relationship with this person. You have already had sex with this person. You guys are far beyond, like we should have been having this conversation in the beginning so that she could have been like, well, you know what? I respect how you feel and I appreciate that is your boundaries. However, this is me. This is who I am. So I'm choosing not to pursue this. Not after you get into something with somebody already knowing how they are, then you have sex with them. Then you develop an attachment to them physically and spiritually. And then you hit them with, well, after you love me, these are my boundaries. Like, who the fuck does that? Like,
and I think, Christina, you touched on it a little bit. I think the big thing about the therapy speak of it all that is really bothering me is that your boundaries are for you. Right. They're not for other people. No. So like Christina said, if my boundary is I don't want to date bitches who walk around in bikinis, then I'm no longer date bitches who walk around in bikinis. Right. That is the boundary that I have articulated to you, not hey, this is what I want you to do. That's not how this works. It's not how any of this works. Right. And then I think another aspect of it that's really important is power dynamic. And I think we forget a lot. I think there were 10 plus years between the two of them. So I think that plays into it a lot.
I think, even if she's a luxury celebrity surf instructor, she's not making Jonah Hill money, respectfully. So there's a power dynamic there when it comes to money. How long have they been together? How many of her bills do you pay? How much of her life is now intertwined with yours because it's easy for you to make a whatever payment, a car payment or whoever. And not to say that young lady wasn't independent or that she needed Jonah for anything, but there is a power dynamic when you're dating somebody who is a celebrity, a rich celebrity, and you are not, and you're a nobody. And so, and now if those text messages had come out from the other direction, so say Jonah Hill comes out and says, hey, I dated this girl, she really, disrespected my boundaries, here's an example of how that happens, and they're cropped the right way. If that had come out at the same time, I feel like we would have had a lot more pushback to her because of the fact that we know Jonah, right? We know Jonah as the public. We don't know her.
Right.
So as we've seen him go up and down in his weight loss, as we've seen him, do this whole documentary on his psychologist, I think people feel like they know him and they know his, his thought processes and all of this because you've seen this very finite amount of his life.
Right.
And I think too, we give celebrities specifically celebrities I feel like we've grown up with or the benefit of the doubt, or just men.
All these black people, and you want to embarrass us like this? Did you just make this black ass movie? Do you know how upset I was? You just made this black ass movie and want to get up here and embarrass us like this. Got us over here caping for you.
Hate that for the whites.
Because I've been telling people to stop talking about Jonah Hill's his body. He's specifically asked people do not comment on my body, good, bad, or indifferent. If I look skinny, if I look fat, if I look however, don't comment on it. I don't want to exist in that way. And so I've always been a champion for Jonah because he's been, fat and in public for a very long time. And even skinny Jonah is still a fat person. And I say that as a factual thing, not as because I know some people really have some really strong emotional attachments to the word fat. But I just mean that as a descriptor, same way he's a white man, no matter what he does. And so I think it's when you take all of that frame of reference into, these are your insecurities, so it's okay for you to articulate your boundaries. But I think once you put the onus on somebody else to make the change, that's when it becomes a struggle for me to understand. Because, if this is your goal, if this is your whatever, this is your boundary, this is your rule, what does that have to do with me? On the outside, yeah,
and then it definitely.
And then I was looking at the list though, and there was a couple of things on there that was just ridiculous. I can't even spot it right now because I don't.
Oh, like the one was no hanging out with
your women friends,
who don't have their lives put together. First of all,
you know what that is?
Who to hang out with.
That's bisexuality. She was bisexual, I'm sure. And so that, that's how I read it. I read it as, she's 20 something, 30 something in Los Angeles. If she's not bisexual, then.
Oh, we're sorry. Hold on quick. There's a motorcycle.
X gonna give it to you. They gonna give it to you.
X goes. R.I.P.
But I took that as a issue with her sexuality. Because if she, it was very, because it was.
I thought he was trying to say, don't be hanging out with broke bitches. And I was like, wait a minute, but a broke bitch is kind of fun sometimes.
I think it was.
But we love broke bitches. We love all bitches.
So we love a broke friend. I have a broke friend. Because
yes.
Those are your most.
Don't travel with your broke friend.
Don't travel with her.
Don't travel with her.
But go to the club with her. Because she's going to have the blunt and the bottle in her titties.
Say
it. She know where to go for free on a Friday night.
She knows where to pregame so that when you go to the expensive club, you're not spending $50 on tequila waters.
And she probably know everybody in the spot because she ain't paying for no drinks. I only know that, y'all, because I've been the broke friend, and I was the broke friend for a long time, and I'm okay with that. I'm not the broke friend now. Sometimes I'm still the broke friend.
Still sometimes.
Deliver.
I'm not going
friend over here.
But when I read that, though, I read that because it was so specific of nothing more than coffee, nothing more than this.
Yes.
You're friends with wild paths.
Yes.
It was giving very much not your hoe friends is what it gave me.
It was okay, at first you were setting boundaries, but now it's giving a list of things that you need. Yeah, a very
everything
list.
You don't like about me.
Yes.
Tell me
yes.
what I told you.
Please say that.
And I want to make a disclaimer here, and I meant to do this in the top part. all of these thoughts, opinions, and let me tell you how I have very little thoughts and opinions. Again, rich people, and I have very little thoughts and opinions. But I don't want anybody to be in an abusive situation, regardless of your financial status.
Right.
I don't know these people. You don't know these people. We only know what we are allowed to see. So all of these, speculations and dissertations and all these think pieces we can give day in and day out. It is also understanding that we do not know these people.
Right.
However, situations that you see and read about can still trigger you with your own experience for the shit that we do know, for the shit that we do see. Because I've been on it in this situation on the flip side, where I was too plain, I was too fat, I was not attractive enough for you to introduce me to people or take me out or take me around. And these were all the things you needed me to change about me. But because you're trying to say it in this like loving way, I'm like, well, okay, I guess I could maybe try to lose some weight, or I guess I could try to dress different or be different. And you know what? Thank God I got out of that situation, and just came, comfortable with the fact that I'm a square, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not your, I'm your turn up friend in a different kind of turn up kind of way. Like, I'm going to encourage you to do all of the bad things, but I'm going to make sure that I can wake up the next day and function.
Wow. So you're going to be encouraging me to do the Jaeger bombs and the tequila shots. And then you're going to drive your sober ass home after you slide me in an Uber.
But she's not
terrible.
lying, though,
She's not lying. She's really not.
Listen.
But I'm going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to take you to have a good time.
No, we had a wonderful time.
I'm going to make sure you have the best time.
Okay, hold on. Y'all, listen.
No judgment over here. You want another shot for this
She is dead ass not lying, though, because when I tell y'all that I was down here turned up at the drag show and throwing up on myself by midnight, and she was like, yes, friend, get another drink. We out here, woo. As a matter of fact, I think I ended up with a couple of her dollars tipping the drag queens. Okay, we were out fucking side. And when I tell you that she was so, like, but she made sure I got home. She supported all of my bullshit, okay? Supported all my bullshit, but then made sure I had a trash can at a spot at midnight.
There you go. And
Shame.
ibuprofen at 9 a.m.
Yes. And
I'm going to feed you the next day.
I'm going to feed you and food the next day.
I love it.
Me personally.
Yeah. She was
I'm functioning at all times.
I was
Hashtag Virgo.
Yeah.
In control.
Big Virgo, not the little one. No, but I think those conversations are really important, because I think people forget that abuse just doesn't look like, getting slapped around. I think that's kind of the challenge that I had when I was figuring out and realizing that I had been abused. It was like, I kept telling myself, like, I'm not Kimberly Elise and like Diary of a Mad Black Woman. I'm not meek. I'm not submissive. I'm not, all of these things. I talk back. I fight back. But then you start to realize that somebody is like speaking to you in a way that's literally breaking you down and changing your habits. And I think that that's something we don't talk about enough, because there's not these physical manifestations of your brokenness. There's not these, because
nobody can see what you think and what is really like going on the inside, because there's like a feeling that comes with that, and it's like it's unexplainable. But like when it starts to, I always say it's like when it starts to break your spirit, because that's the only thing that I can really like describe it as, is because it's just like this feeling on the inside of you that like nobody can see, and a lot of times we just mask it. You know what I mean? Like we try to be okay, or we think like. When you start to think like, am I crazy? Then that's when you need to start being, that's when you really need to start thinking, because you're like, this motherfucker must think I'm crazy. Like, am I crazy? And then and that feeling on the inside of you is just like snapping, and nobody can see it. You know what I mean?
And they don't even be that cute.
No.
They don't really be worth it.
Say that.
They really don't be worth it.
No, and I want to say too, I want to like look directly in the camera when I say this. Like, I want you to know that if you see similarities in this situation with Jonah Hill specifically, or in any other abusive situation that is caused a public discourse on the internet, if you see these similarities, if there's a person in your life that you trust, you can ask them, hey, do you see And just ask them, do you see the similarities that I see? If you don't have somebody somebody professional to talk to. And if you're noticing that you're feeling these feelings and you are having these emotions, I want you to know that there is somebody that loves you. And we love you.
Absolutely.
And we want you to be safe. We want you to be loved, and we want you to be happy, and you deserve to be happy.
Yeah. And on the flip side, as the friend, if you're the trustworthy person, see something, say something.
Yes.
Even at the expense, even at the expense of my friendship, I'm going to see something. I'm going to say something.
Yep.
I'm not going to never let nobody sit in that position, especially not after you have experienced abuse. And we're actually going to have an episode specifically dealing with abuse and assault and things of that nature. But I just do want to say, I feel like in this, I don't know if it's this country or the world and the media, like these conversations around abuse and the representation around abuse is they make it look so like binary.
Yeah.
It's all traumatic. So I don't want to say they don't make it, but I even feel like they don't make it serious enough. Mm-hmm. Like to me, they make it look like this only happens 1 in a million, when in reality, this shit happens one in every 8, 1 in every 10. Go sit in a room with you and 10 of your other friends, and I bet you half of y'all have experienced some form of abuse. If it's nothing more than you don't feel like fucking, and your person is over here like, but come on, that is assault. Like coercion is assault, and it's like we don't make those things look. We like to play them off like, oh girl, da 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 da.
Yeah, I never really knew that I had always when we would have conversations, and I would have conversations with women, I would be like, I've never been sexual assaulted, not really until like I had a conversation with somebody one time, and like I was just, talking about like being in a situation where I felt like I couldn't say no. So I just did it. You know what I mean? And they were like, but you were sexually assaulted. Like to be in a space where you feel like that you don't have the right to say no, like either something's going to happen to you or somebody's going to be mad at you or whatever, like you were that's a form of sexual assault. And until like I had that conversation with somebody that like experienced that same thing, I didn't even realize that I had been on multiple occasions, because I felt like that even with people I've been in relationships with, like I couldn't say no, because there was going to be some type of reaction or result.
But that's how they present it to us, right? Like that's how it's presented in the media, and even not in the media, even in your own lives. I mean, how many times have you had, your mothers or other women tell you, well, this is how you have to please them. Like this is what you have to do.
This is how it is.
And like, no, motherfucker, I don't have to do nothing with this pussy. Nothing that I don't want to do. Nothing. Say that. Not a damn thing. And I shouldn't, and nobody should ever have to feel that they're not giving themselves willingly and freely. And even sometimes, in situations, and again, this is gonna be a whole nother, I don't want to get too heavy into it today, but just like even in situations where you're in relationships and you understand like sex is an important part of a relationship, there is still a way to navigate that in a healthy space for both
everybody.
For everybody. That doesn't have to feel so let me suck this dick today. Let me do this today.
That didn't even sound right coming out of your mouth.
If actually I almost
tripped over it.
I don't even think I know how to say the word. Penis.
No, hate it.
Okay,
no.
Hated it.
We'll leave the dick to.
But I think you're 100% right. I think there is a way, and I think the reason why we don't have as many discussions about it, or we don't make coercion and things like verbal abuse as big as they should be, because I think the thought process is if that makes every man an abuser. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm not an everyman hater. I'm not listen, I found one. I picked one. Out of the sea of thousands of humans, I picked a man. So I don't, I'm not the believer of like all men are trash, I guess. But I think that there is a fear of where the more things that we call abuse, then the more abusers that we'll have. And then people don't know what to do when that abuser is your friend, when that abuser is your brother, is your, is somebody that you look up to. And so I think that's the reason why we don't call a thing a thing.
Yeah.
And it's because, and that was a really interesting Twitter thread that I read of a woman being like, yeah, and what now?
And you're taking away it, because not all men are trash, right? Not all men want to be abusers. I've talked to several men who were like, wow, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
And now
and
that
never
I know
realized, right, exactly.
And now
never
that I know
realized
that,
that's what it was. You know what I mean? Like, never really realized that was something. You know what I'm saying? That was like, that needed to be talked about because people aren't willing to have like those conversations. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I have a story, but we'll save that.
We're gonna save this because this is getting far from sacrifice. But like, to enjoy. Listen, it's summertime. It's time to be out in the streets and bust it wide open, tell them bring it back. And we should do that safely, and we should do that willingly, and we should do that lovingly. Yes. And I didn't really get to talk too much about Keke Palmer, but this is all kind of going into the topic that even that man who she was, I love him. Like, I want to be that girl on the internet.
2 days.
Yes. I love him.
2 days before that shit came out.
Had that whole baby, and her body is bodying. If he was real smart about himself, he would go ahead and just shut up and get behind that. Because I love Keke before the baby, but now
he literally was posting videos of her in a cat suit, like in a skin tight cat suit with very little to the imagination. Which no shade, love that.
Yeah,
but he's posting videos where she's standing, shaking her ass, and he's recording it. So I think that's the thing that bothers me is that, like, and I think the thing that triggered everybody, because if he had turned around and said, hey, you're my woman. It's the dress though. You're my woman. I think there would have been a lot less discourse around what he had to say about her outfit.
If he had never said nothing and just text that woman, call her. Why do we have to know this?
Why do we have to know?
Why do we even know any of this in the first place?
But the fact that she said that he watched her walk out the house and slapped her on the ass, I think he was just big in his ego about the fact that Usher knows that she was fine and was letting her know that she was fine. And, like, it's okay for another man. And, I'm not saying that Usher probably don't think that Keke Palmer fine, because Keke Palmer is fine. Bitch, if she was standing next to me, I would probably be like, hey, but in a respectful way. Anyway, because we was just talking about
respectfully.
So let me not be disrespectful.
What's up?
But what I'm saying is, like, why can another man not love on us and him love on her in a way that we see you are a mother, you are out here black, you and
look
beautiful,
good,
you look snatched, thank you for coming to support my show and I'm supporting you.
I think for her baby daddy, I think what it was, because so I have artist boyfriends in my past, right? So I was thinking about okay, Keke went to an Usher show and Usher said, damn girl, you look great.
Great.
Love it.
Love that for you.
If I had went to an Usher show and Usher said, damn Brittany, you look great. Damn stranger nobody lady, you look amazing. My fiance wouldn't have not had the same reaction if I had went to a local rapper show and he had been like, damn girl, I want to take you home.
Damn girl,
because now it's a proximity thing, right?
Now you're a little too close to comfort.
She has access to Usher, and I think that was a point that a lot of people were missing in his insecurity. Not that I'm taking up for him, because I do think he should sit down and shut the fuck up, because nobody cares. But I think that was the key piece that people were missing, was that it wasn't just that it was Usher, it was that it was
the Ushers within her crew.
Yeah, it would have been nothing for her to knock on
financial
tax
bracket,
and it would have been nothing for her to knock on the stage door and been like, hey, I'm Keke Palmer, let me backstage. And so I think that's a thing to a proximity that I didn't see brought up a lot. But I do think that not only what he said was triggering, but I think the language was triggering. Because triggering. I think one thing we learned with working with the moms.
You just made me think of something. Go ahead.
one thing we learned with working with the moms is that sometimes they were given a very binary identity as mothers. And it's just, you're a mom, you're nothing past that.
Yeah.
And so I think that when he said that, you're a mom, I think a lot of the moms, or a lot of women in general, were just like, she's so much more, like, she's Keke fucking Palmer.
Yeah.
She's not just a mom.
But then they also probably went into this, well, hold the fuck on, because I'm a mom. So
Yeah.
what you trying to say?
So what does
I'm
that
a
mean?
Mom, I can't
be fine?
Yeah. So because I'm a mom, I can't have my ass out. Bitch, how you think we got this whole ass kid? My ass was out, honey. It was out.
Up, down,
So all of the things.
Actually, you know what? In reality, it probably was just like 3-minute quickie.
Oh, drag him.
But
Say drag
I mean, that's
him.
how most of y'all kids.
Say drag him.
Drag him.
Kiki, if you want to...
But I'm not saying that anyway.
We like the girls.
What I'm gonna say from my perspective, because all that was good. Yes, she could be more than a mom. She could be all of this. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you just get on the interwebs
Yeah.
and publicly shame me?
Yeah.
Don't embarrass
Did
me.
you
Yeah.
Game of Thrones shame?
Yeah.
Shame
Scarlet Letter.
Yes.
me? Now I
Like,
got back up with you.
think for attention, or like, what was this for,
Did
really?
you
Like,
embarrass
I don't
me?
know. Like,
I think
What
he's
were
got the
you getting out of
DDG.
it?
I think he's got the DDG, the DDG virus. Halle Bailey's boyfriend.
yes.
Dicks don't give.
Oh, you haven't.
Oh,
They
my
were calling
God,
him
let's
doo-doo
talk
garbage
about
on Spotify.
that. They
what?
were.
They were calling him doo-doo garbage.
He made a whole
I
song,
can't remember.
didn't he?
Doo-doo garbage.
Yeah. So yes, he did. So he made a whole
about
song
her.
about Halle Bailey on the tail end of her, no pun intended, on the tail end of her Little Mermaid situation.
Yes.
And he did. So the thing was, it's like, you know,
Embarrassed.
I've been fucking. It was basically like, I've been fucking on a famous bitch. That's literally like
literally.
because I think
Look at
it
me
goes.
not being tapped in, tuned in,
And
because
this-
rich. I don't
no.
give a fuck what y'all be doing.
No, but for in this story, literally ties into Jonah, into Kiki, like literally on the he made a whole song about her.
Wow.
First of all,
not
she's a
not
young
America's
girl.
princess.
Yes, she is a young girl, and he upset
Wow.
about like a scene in the Little Mermaid. Are you kidding? A whole
Okay.
Disney movie kiss right
Filming
now?
a movie, now you kissing dudes. You know I love you a lot. I don't give a fuck if that shit was for promo. I don't want to see this shit no more. Why is y'all holding hands in the photo? You know I'm insecure. That's a no-no. I keep coming back. Take you shopping. I'm thumbing through the racks. Ain't no limit. I'm spending the max. All these niggas that be in your DM trying to tell you they proud, but them motherfuckers don't even know you, so I want to know how. All these industry niggas is lame. They just want you because you got a name and because you're the girl that I claim. All these motherfuckers in my business. Like, it's really...
Hold on, but let's just go back a couple bars to.
So he,
You think
I mean, hold on,
You be in the DMs because I claim you?
I've been
First
so
of
insecure that I be thinking you really fucking these niggas you do movies with, but on the internet I just be cooling it. DGG, I'm gonna tell you right now, you do not be on the internet cooling it. I
No.
don't know who told you that.
And that's where you got us fucked up. If
Gotta
any
be
of y'all
paying
need
good
to
because
know.
you keep doing it. I might just tweet something just to ruin it. I got a platform. I'm abusing it.
Now, who wrote this?
Doo-doo garbage.
Yes.
who is that?
The
Halle
rapper,
Bailey's boyfriend.
Halle Bailey's boyfriend.
She's still with him.
Yes.
yes. And for
To
the
this
fact that
day.
he's
Y'all
like,
gotta stop letting me listen.
he's threatening her basically, like whatever he, you know what I mean?
That's a
and, like,
threat
you're threatening
to me.
her to put something on the internet. Basically, like that's what you're saying. Not only that, but you're saying that motherfuckers only in my DMs because you claim me. Like,
Yep.
bitch, you only want her because of who you wanted her originally because of who the fuck she
Y'all
was.
can't want to be in relationships this bad. Let me go
Oh
on
my
my
God.
tangent real quick.
Oh my god.
I know a lot of y'all have a really big problem with being by yourself, and y'all will take anything, do anything, and let me get it. I understand because dating is garbage, and honestly,
Trash.
he's no better than the next one. But y'all have got to stop letting people get on the internet in front of the public, embarrassing you. And you're embarrassing yourself. Fuck with how they're embarrassing you. What kind of standard are you holding for yourself? You know, it was a friend of mine who asked me one day, like, Christina, what are your values? What are your values? And we're not talking about, I love the Lord and blah, blah. Like, do you value community, respect, love? You cannot sit here and tell me as a woman, a black woman especially, who is trying to uplift other women, and you don't even know how to do it for yourself. Cause ain't no way that would have been our breakup letter.
Yeah,
I would have been like, "Oh, I didn't have to break up with you. You broke up with me,
and that's
you
so
did it on the
embarrassing for
internet."
her. That's so embarrassing for her, and more than embarrassing, like you wait until she's at the height, like literally of her career. And this is my thing: is I know her, like I know this Chloe and
Hallie. Yeah,
Hallie. Okay, so and they're so supportive of one another, and I love all of that for them. But Hallie's took off.
In a different way.
Took off right in a they're totally different people. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to lump them into one, but what I'm saying is like Hallie has had her moments and is doing her thing. Okay, rightfully so. Bad bitch, better word. But Little Mermaid was like it is her moment.
Yeah,
you know
Hallie's,
what I mean? And like even her sister has been like so supportive and so like this is your moment and things like that. Why in the hell would you wait until this woman is at the height of her thing, black woman in a Disney movie, black Disney princess, we're all of the things, and you write this trashy ass song and threaten her though, basically? Like, you're embarrassing.
So
like,
I do want to give Hallie a little grace. Because I do think she's like 24. Like she's so young.
She is young.
And I think that there's so much to be learned from experience. And I would imagine
we are some old bitches.
Well, also I would imagine as a young celebrity, your dating life looks a lot different. You know what I mean? Whereas, you know, me personally, like where I was dating coming up, it was like online and offline. So you had these like miniature interactions of people that you may talk to or you may deal with in a short term that teach you a big lesson, right? They teach you, I don't want somebody who's going to text me every 10 minutes on the dot. Or I do want somebody who's going to text me all like that. I don't want somebody. So I think when you don't have that experience, I think that it can be really isolating. And so to be with another celebrity and be with somebody else who also needs security to walk through the mall, I feel like there's a little bit of like, I see you, we see each other there. But in the same aspect, she has a lot to lose. Yeah. And if there's anything that I learned from Euphoria is that these young kids be fucking and they be fucking on camera. Ooh. And if you're going to write a song like this, it would not surprise me if there had been a threat of revenge porn. And that was big for me when I left my ex, is that I knew he had naked pictures of me. And that was something that I had brought up in a fight. Like, oh, you want your family to see what you was doing on camera? Like, you want da-da-da-da?
Shit, my mama.
I mean, at that point,
if you want to,
but you don't have $1 billion
sucking a dick, then go ahead at this point. I mean, whatever.
But we're not the Little Mermaid,
right? But we
are not the Little Mermaid. No,
and we're not a Little Mermaid, even adjacent.
Yeah,
no, not at all.
And she's already had enough. You know, they're bombing the movie in China just because she's black. You know, there's all these other things, and I'm sure she's protected
and it's a lot
from
of pressure to be like a face for little girls too. And
absolutely,
then you're gonna like sit that out there. That would like ruin.
That's so. I don't have any basis for that
she don't suck a dick, but the point is like the Little Mermaid is like Disney. Yes. You have a certain audience that you're catering to, and you're already teeter-tottering on it anyway because of the fact that like this is black representation for a lot of
and
little
you're
black
a young,
girls, like, and
grown
you're
woman.
Young, yes. And that's just crazy that you would like.
That's where I went with it
her like
because
that.
I don't see it any other way.
And
like,
who is he though?
Who is he?
I want to know who he is because I'm like I don't hear I've never even heard your song on the radio. Like I want to know where they play it at. First of all, you're not even on the same level as her, which is why you had to take a video to try to ruin her in the first place.
I think he was a rapper turned Twitch streamer or the other way around. So I think that he got really hot on Twitch. And so I've seen a couple clips of his Twitch streams where he talks about like so like when they were calling him doo-doo garbage on the internet, somebody changed his name on Spotify to doo-doo garbage, blah, 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 and it was up for like however many hours. Well, plot twist, he comes out on a Twitch stream and says, oh no, I did that. I called the label and told them to do that because I thought it would be good press. So now I'm like looking at everything you do.
You have somebody
now you're like a master manipulator.
Yes.
And so I just am really, and I just think it's another lens to view this kind of relationship through
and abuse through,
and because now we have somebody who's in it.
Well, I feel like
that was a lot.
It was a lot.
That was a lot of where you have us fucked up.
Yeah,
and
it
I think
was.
we can summarize this specifically by saying abusers, manipulators, gaslighters, you got us fucked up. And I can't wait personally. This is as a survivor of many things.
Yeah.
I personally can't wait till this platform gets to a level where I can really start blowing up y'all's spot. Because let me tell you, when y'all abuse and all that shit doesn't look like what you think what they try to show you what it looks like, that's not what it looked like.
Yep.
And I'm 100%, I believe, victims over abusers until shown otherwise.
Yeah.
Call it what you want.
Yeah.
And I don't put shit past nobody. Somebody could come up here acting like, oh my God, he's the nicest person I've ever met. He's an abuser.
Don't care.
Yeah.
He touched little kids. He's not the nicest person you ever met in your life. I can guarantee you that. So abusers got us fucked up.
Yep.
That was a lot.
We're gonna leave them right there.
Yeah, we're gonna leave right there. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna let y'all process all of that. Some of y'all might have to break up with some people after you listen to that.
Absolutely.
And if y'all need a single circle, a daisy chain,
Absolutely.
you let us
Come on.
you let us know.
We got you.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We want to take a moment to thank our sponsor of this episode, 33 West Studios. They are your fave photography and beauty team, specializing in the 3 Bs, beauty, branding, and boudoir. You can check out more of their work at www.33weststudios.com. Thank you, and let's wrap this show up.
And we're back, friends. Now we're going to talk about the actual topic of the episode. Fat girl summer, fat girl liberation, living your best life as a big girl in the summertime. So who better than to tell us how to live our best fat girl life than capital T, capital F, the fat girl herself, Miss Blue. So why don't we start with you?
Yes. So I want to shout out, first of all, Snag Tights is the brand, and they're on Instagram, Snag Tights, Facebook, Snag Tights. You can find them everywhere. So they make these like nylon shorts, right? So it's giving pantyhose, but thicker material, all like colors, and you wear them, like you can wear them underneath like your Daisy Dukes and add like a pop of color. You can wear them underneath your skirts, underneath your dresses, but they're called chub rub shorts, right? And so it's to keep, because, you know, big girls, like, we want to live our best big girl life, but the thigh rub is, like, real, especially in the summertime, when it's hot, when you're sweating. Nobody wants to go home and be trying to give it up and have chafed thighs.
Wow. No, definitely not.
Not the move.
It's giving ground beef.
It is. So go on there and check their shorts out. I have 2 pairs, one red, one, I think, yellow. And they are the bomb. Like, when I tell you, like, sweat, like, you won't, none of that, none of the rubbing, none of the anything. And they're cute and fashionable and, like, easy to use as an accessory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I love that.
super dope. And then I discovered this yoni oil. And when I tell y'all, listen, I was telling Christina earlier, first of all, I'm single, so I don't need none of y'all to judge me. I'm just trying to get my coochie right. So when I do decide to give it to somebody, it slaps.
Falling off the bone.
Okay. It's there and it's coochieing. Okay. So this yoni oil is like all natural and it smells like passion fruit. And when I tell you, it just had like my whole, like, and you can put it everywhere. So it's not like one of those like, don't accidentally get inside you, because it's not like, it's really made with like all natural extracts, oils, like so all of the things, definitely safe for all of the areas. Not only does it make like your coochie like soft and like all of the things, but it smells like passion fruit. Hello. But it's also, I'm not a wax girl, and like some girls are wax girls, some girls are shave girls. Like I prefer to shave. So like it's really good for like razor bump, like in between your thigh where your like panty and your thigh may rub. It's keeping all of the things under control. So I don't really know the brand, so we'll circle back and insert here. But definitely get you like a good like yoni oil, just because it makes you feel like more confident. It keeps your pH balanced, like all of the things. And yes, so I'm loving that and even more so, like it's by women. I think it's a Black owned business. And so yeah, I'll make sure I link it and all that stuff because we need to know about it. But yeah.
What are
Love
your
that.
What are your fat girl summer tips?
All right, living my best fat girl summer. I have to put my glasses on because I have notes.
Come on,
because
notes.
we've already talked about. I ain't gonna remember that shit.
Come on, be professional.
So my first thing, because over the summer, I did have some doctor's appointments and things were just not looking well for me. First of all, it has nothing to do with my weight. So let's cut that
Correct.
right there.
Yeah.
It does and it doesn't. Let me say that. It does and it doesn't. I knew for a minute that something wasn't right within myself. And like, it took over a year for me to get a doctor who was like, all right, let's run some tests. Let's run some labs. And so finally did that and discovered a thyroid situation. So that I was like, well, that explains 40 pounds out of nowhere in the middle of the night. And so I think for me this summer, after going through all that experience, I was like, I need to get in tune with my body. So I want to encourage people to do that. Get in tune with, this is a perfect, summer is just a great time to get in tune with your body because you can go outside. You can, unless you're in Texas or something, don't go outside.
Please don't.
Nevada.
Please don't.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't go outside. Go inside.
Yeah.
But get in tune with your body. And definitely seek somewhere where you can get good unbiased care. I find we neglect ourselves a lot, especially in those winter months where we just want to be in the house. We don't want to do nothing. This is a good time to start making sure you're finding professionals to give you good unbiased care. I know that's very hard to find in the fat community. Doctors and providers who are not. Let me tell you, I have a story to tell. Let me tell you, I went to the doctor. This was like 3 years ago, when I was not as heavy as I am now. And this motherfucker told me, "Oh, if you want to lose weight, eat like the cavemen and the foragers ate. Just eat nuts and berries, and And I'm like, what? It's 2020. It's 2019. I can go to the grocery store.
Right.
I can just go to Kroger.
And they quick to make everything about you being fat, though. Like,
I'm not even here for that.
It could be
I'm just here to get my regular
that's what I mean. It could be no. It could be not like.
Yeah, I'm not hurting. Ain't nothing wrong with me. My blood pressure is good. Everything good.
I did not solicit any of this
I'm
advice about my fatness. Like, I did not solicit any of this advice about my fatness.
Nothing.
That's not even why I came here. Was because I was fat. I knew that before I showed up. Yeah. The fuck.
I saw the.
It was.
I think I didn't look at myself.
I wasn't surprised when you put me on the scale.
Not at all. Like, what?
That big thing over. I was like,
knock that over. Maybe one more.
I came up. You just gonna publicly shame me? You didn't even let me get up and correct myself.
You see that? You see publicly embarrassing people? Don't do that. So yes, take the summer to find you some good unbiased care, like somebody if you can. And if you're having a hard time finding that, reach out and get in some groups and Facebook and stuff. If Facebook is good for nothing else, it's good for a group. You can find. A friend told me, this is because she told me not to call it a protective style. That's why I can't. That's why I yelled at her for yawning in my speech. Get you a hairstyle that is very low maintenance for them summer months. It has been lovely not having to do my hair.
It looks good too, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like it.
It's heavy, but heavy is the head that wears the crown. And
hashtag queen. Hashtag queen.
I gotta check. I gotta check you.
Check your peripheral.
A knife in my back.
They can see both these beige arms. They know exactly where they are.
And my last but not least, to having your best fat girl summer life. Throw away them clothes that you can't fit no more, friend. Throw them away.
They're not gonna do nothing but make you feel bad.
Nothing. They go, and then it's hot outside, so they just gonna they gonna hug you a little tighter. They gonna stick to you a little more. Don't do that to yourself,
and not in a good way.
And that yoni yo ain't gonna help that.
Ooh.
It's not gonna help them clothes that don't fit.
It's
They're gonna
not.
be slipping and sliding in all the wrong cracks.
Okay.
But that is, you put on like your, you put on like your dress that's like too small. You're like, okay, I'll still make it work, but you're uncomfortable all night. You're miserable. You're hot now because you got something that's literally clinging to you, wrapping you in like a saran wrap.
No, for real.
Don't let it be from Shein, then you know it's gonna be plastic. And you're gonna have no breathe. But shout out to you for keeping the clothes from Shein for 2 summers, because I'd never heard of that.
I need
before.
that laundry routine expeditiously.
Expeditiously.
I'm a firm believer. So even though I do love the Chub Rub shorts, I am actually a firm believer, and this is part of like our next segment where we talked about how your summer changed and evolved as a fat woman. And so I used to be somebody who I'm wearing shapewear all the time. I've seen some Spanx wear out in some ways that I did not know that you could wear out a Spanx. And I mean, and this was in the summer, 95-degree weather. I have on short shorts and a pair of Spanx that you can't see.
Shit.
Like,
Hold on, but friend, let
full
me tell
jeans.
you about them though. Like, just to circle back, like, ain't nothing about them giving shapewear.
no, and that's the thing that I think is one of the things that I wanted to give as my tip.
Yeah.
You don't need shapewear in the summertime. You don't need it, friend. You don't need it. Let it breathe.
Please.
Let it hang out. I'm telling you, that shapewear is only keeping things from jiggling around. That belly is still in there, and we know, and we synced it, and it's okay. And I think when I released myself from having to wear shapewear, and I felt the movement of my body, I felt like I was more aware of what my body was doing. I was more, and in times it does make me more self-conscious if I'm walking and I feel like, my butt is moving more than I would like, or whatever, it's putting on a show, because sometimes she like to act out in front of folks.
But we love that for
Y'all
her.
ain't seen it on the camera.
But we love that for her.
Y'all
though.
ain't seen it because we try to be.
No, don't say
13.
we. I always have footage of Brittany's ass wiggling.
I'm
and
talking about these people.
oh.
We don't put it on the YouTube.
Oh,
We don't be putting
no.
her ass on the YouTube.
That's gonna be
No,
on the
just
Patreon.
on the Instagram
That's gonna be
stories.
on the Patreon for you.
You got to pay to see this.
That's gonna be on the Patreon.
Booty
Okay,
jiggles on the
That's
$199.99
okay
tier for
They got a left and a
Patreon.
right.
Okay.
But it's one of those things that I had to like get used to that, because I was just so used to like being in shapewear and it being there but not moving, and so it's this whole new thing. So I encourage a lot of plus size and fat women to not wear shapewear, because I think it's a really great way to get to know your body, and it's not it's getting to know what you really look like outside of your clothes. Because your clothes are really a thin veil. Like we know what you look like, friend, under your clothes. Like you're a person. So there's only so much to be left to the imagination. And I just think that that's a really important lesson as we go forward into this liberation aspect of like, I don't need to be sucked in. I don't need to be shaped in a specific kind of way in order to look good. I look good right now.
On my mama, on my hood.
And since we are releasing you from shapewear, I have to give it the biggest shout out. I have the anti-chafe potion to end all anti-chafe potions.
Let's get it.
When I tell you, I've taken this to Las Vegas, I've taken this to Mexico, I've taken this to Los Angeles, I've worn it in top heat in Ohio. So we got high humidity, we got low humidity, we got no humidity, friends. There is no excuse it's gonna work for you in all climates. Shout out to Monistat. If you want to holler at your girls, let us know. We do it for the femmes, we do it for the girls.
We do it for the girls.
But
GW.
Monistat makes a anti-chafing like lotion.
Okay.
And so what it kind of feels like is like a silicone primer. If you've ever used one of those, like a Smashbox kind of situation, it feels a lot like that. It's like $7 for the tube. Now I've used the Glide, the She Glide, the Mega Babe, all of those that are like creeping up on $20 depending on where you get them. $7 holler, CVS, Walgreens, Target, usually in the feminine products aisle. So next to your Azo, next to all those your other Monistat products. But when I tell you, I've been using this same tube for like a year and a half. You need, maybe like a blueberry sized amount. That's it. It's my absolute favorite thing. So shout out to them. Not an ad, truly just a recommendation.
We did that for free
because it works.
Yeah.
So shout out to them.
We love
Let me
that.
say, we don't do.
I'm gonna have to check
we're,
that out.
We're
friend.
past our doing things for free
Because
days,
I
so
don't
you
wear-
must really really love that.
Yeah, and I don't wear shapewear like a lot. You know what I mean? Like I will wear shapewear if it's something that I feel like we need to do, like we're doing a certain type of photo shoot or whatever. But like on a normal, like everyday basis, like I'm not wearing shapewear. Like I will throw them chub rub shorts underneath something if it's just like something that's like real open in that area. Cause like a biker short is giving me like not chub rub, you know what I mean? But if it's something like a dress or like a pair of shorts that's kind of like a little opener, like in my thigh area, then cause I mean,
you have, like,
I'm
a
not
dress slit like up the side, and you don't want, you know, your Spanx peeking out the bottom. Or you don't want your short to be poking out. So I love those. They would also be really great for any of our models out there. Shout out to y'all. If you're walking around doing boudoir, if you are like walking around and doing the things like, and you're not, you know, don't have a full pant on, it's another great way to just make sure you're not, I've used it in other parts of my body, like between my cleavage, and sometimes you'll get chafed there underneath
under
the
your
bra.
boobs.
I just am a huge fan. And I feel like the more things that allow me now in my life to wear less clothes, the better. So shout out to them. And then as your resident skincare friend, as your resident skincare bestie, wear your fucking sunscreen all over your body. Apply it more than once. If you're going to be outside for more than 4 to 5 hours, I'm going to need you to set you an alarm. Go ahead and reapply, because the burn doesn't happen when you first step out. The burn happens when you've been in the sun nice and cooking up for a little bit. And I know my melanated girls have already started to tune me out, but I'm going to have you come back. You too. Skin cancer is, Black people die from skin cancer at exponentially higher rates than white people. And it's not because Black people are more susceptible, because when I had this conversation on Twitter, they call me everything but a child of God. It is not because Black people are more susceptible. Obviously, there's systemic racism and medical racism and everything that plays into a factor of that. But we catch melanoma in Black people a lot later because we don't, melanated Black people don't have as many moles. Or if you do have moles, they're not as big of a red flag as if, you know, it would be if somebody, you know, on the printer paper people side of things was getting moles and all those things. Those are something that but that's something that, you know, as a kid, that you're like, you know, you're looking at your mother, you're looking at your grandmother talking about their moles, their sunspots, things like that. So for Black and melanated people, you too need sunscreen. If we're going to protect you, not just from the UVA, but from the UVB. A big person that I like to bring up is Bob Marley. Now, was he on the lighter side of things? Sure, yes. But that is actually what Bob Marley died from, was from melanoma. And actually he got it in his toenails because he hated to wear shoes. Yep.
Oh, so when you say put that sunscreen from head to toe.
Put it on, friend. Put it on. And I stand here as a testament. I just went and did ATVs in Las Vegas heat in 115 degrees at like 12:30, the middle of the day. I don't know who booked that. She really hates us. But I wore my SPF 70. I reapplied it twice. I had no burn. I barely even have a tan line. But that's another sad story for another day. So to live your best fat girl summer life, you got to wear your sunscreen. You got to get you, a little anti-chafe situation. You got to let go of that shapewear. And if you are going to wear shapewear, just wear a chub rub short. Just wear a biker short. Get you a protective hairstyle so you don't have to worry about all the things and the humidity and all the factors. Let that blowout go for like 3 months, friend. It's okay.
Yes. Or just do the, like a tank top shapewear. Like just do the top.
Yeah.
Because if I know anything about being a big girl, I feel like we sweat down south.
Everything comes down. Yeah.
More than it may start up, unless you got a lot of titty. Then you're just kind of shove a look everywhere. Yeah.
And get in tune with your body if you can. You know, go for a walk. There's a lot of fun outdoor activities that don't have to be exercise. I love to kayak. Now you do have to call ahead and make sure they got the thick girl friendly kayaks. If you do happen to be a little bit more hippie, a little bit more bottom friendly. But yeah, do the outdoor things. It's a great time to really like be able to get in tune with yourself, not just for the benefits, but for your own peace of mind, so that you know when something hurts, you know when something doesn't feel right. You know, if you're not in tune with your body, you can't read the signals when they come. So
for sure.
Now that we have discussed how we reach our optimal fat girl potential, I want to know how we got there. So I'll start, just because I feel like my fat girl evolution in the summer
is something that I've talked about kind of like frequently, especially with you guys. I remember I was doing a photo shoot and I was talking to a model, and she was talking about how she wore two pairs of jeans in the summertime as a kid. She was talking about being like 13 or 14 and wearing 2 pairs of jeans. And the reason why she brought this up, because she was talking about how her whole life she always felt too skinny. Like her legs always felt skinny. You know, everybody always made fun of her little skinny legs. And it just was something to me. So our lens is always going to be on fatness, because that is the life that we have lived, unless we bring somebody else to talk about their life that they have lived. But I want you to know that we also know that this is not a singular fat experience. Right. And that was something for me that was like, oh, we all go through this. And it made me feel a lot less alone. And it also made me feel a lot less shameful. Yeah. So when I was young, I was a camp counselor. And so there was literally an entire summer where I wore long pants, and I'm like chasing around 5 and 6 year olds, and I'm in a full pair of jeans. It wasn't until I was probably 17 I bought my first pair of like shorts that I wore out, and they were cargo shorts. They were like knee length, like boys cargo shorts. And so it was one of those things too where I felt like one of two things was happening. I was covering up my body because I was ashamed of it, but I was also covering up my body because I felt like the hotter it got, the more sexualized I became. The less clothes that I wore, the more I kind of stepped into this frame of view that I didn't want to be into. And I think that that's important when we talk about summer clothes and summer bodies and having your body out, because I do think that sometimes it's not a confidence thing. Sometimes you get out the shower, you look at yourself butt ass naked, you're like, damn, I look the fuck good. Sometimes it's an attention thing. And I know a lot of girls, like we used to talk about a girl that we worked with at MAC who looked like a freaking supermodel, freaking stunning. The girl wore like Billie Eilish style outfits all the time. And, you know, we talked to her like, girl, if I had your body, they'd have to pay me to put clothes on. I'd be in dental floss every day. Yeah. And that was another thing. It was just like, sometimes it's not about that. Sometimes it's not about whether or not I feel comfortable. Sometimes it's about other people making me uncomfortable.
Yeah. And excuse me, Mom. That's funny you said that. We probably should definitely stop telling people with bodies that if I had your body, I would do X, Y, and Z. Don't worry about that. Do what you want to do in your own body and let them do what they want to do. Because like you said, like we talked about, you had brought up last time, you don't know what somebody's holding in their body. You had brought that up and talked about that. So I know a lot of people want to complain like, oh, now I got to say this. Now I got to call people by their pronouns. Now I got to do. Yeah, you do got to respect people. Yeah. And that's going to look different in every generation. Yeah. And every turn. You do have to respect people, because you know, you might meet the right one on the wrong motherfucking day. And that's a wish I wish for many of y'all. But for a lot of y'all, I don't wish that. I wish you to just respect people. So in our doing, we can change our language. Like, you know, don't tell people what to do. If you see somebody's body and you're like, ooh, damn, if I had that body, I'd be naked all the time. Just go be naked all the time.
Yeah. You got that body. It just looks a little different.
Yeah, you don't got that, and y'all were born two completely different people. So unless you're gonna pay somebody to modify your body, which you can do, like if you got the coin, that's also an option for you. Yeah, if you got the coin and you see somebody's body and you're like, I want that one, and there's just no way in hell the gym is going to give me that.
Take it to the doctor.
Yeah, do you? Dr. Miami is waiting for
on TikTok.
You.
He making videos just for you, friend. Just for you. So how do you feel like as you've gotten older, or just as you've developed in your own body image, how do you feel like summer has changed for you? Because I know as somebody who definitely was like a big tankini, once, you know, single swimsuit, give me a good Speedo with the little thingy right here. I want to look like a lifeguard.
You literally already talked about it. Like you touched on it back, you know, even up until I'm honestly going to say until I met Tasha. So I'm 30, I'll be 37. So what is that? 2 years ago, until 2 years ago, summertime for me was how much of my body can I cover without being too hot?
Without passing out.
Without passing the fuck out. Like how much can I cover? How can I still dress like I'm in the fall, but not pass the fuck out when I go
How can outside? I give October in July?
and I want to give you your flowers too, Tasha, because I think having Tasha in my proximity has been a big game changer for me too, because it's one of those things where, you know, representation matters. So if I see Tasha do it, that means I can do it.
Yep.
You know, like if Tasha looks good as fuck, and Tasha was one of the first plus size boudoir models that I saw that was like actually like getting naked and like take, you know, because that's another thing. We do a lot of boudoir, and as affirming as we are, people still, you know, are not
not wearing a fucking baby. Because let me tell you, we're not going to talk about this today, but if you are a plus size woman who's interested in having a boudoir session and you don't choose to book us, shame on you. And you choose to book someone else. If I see you in a baby doll outfit, I'm gonna burn it. I'm gonna fucking burn it. Because they're ugly and you look ugly in them. They make cute ones, but they have to be
literally
cut a
just
way.
brought a cute one.
They have to be cut a certain
I know what
way.
you mean.
But it's like
the
real
ones I'm talking
slowly.
about.
If it came
Yeah,
from
no, I know the
Macy's.
one you're
If it
talking
came
about.
from
Yeah.
Dillard's.
Yeah.
If it was hanging next to a fleece robe
yes.
Y'all know
in the
we
store,
know, yeah.
that one gotta
Burn
stay.
it.
Yeah.
Burn it immediately. But yeah, it was until having that representation and seeing like, okay, maybe I wouldn't wear that exactly, but now I can play around with some things.
I love y'all.
Yeah, so seeing you and then opening up to start seeing more people on TikTok and things, and just really opening and broadening the spectrum of like representation. I know you have invited play into my wardrobe, right? You've invited play with clothing. So it doesn't mean I'm going to wear every crop top or I'm going to wear every, you know, high slit things, but now I can play around with it and see how, okay, I'm very comfortable with a crop and a blazer type of situation. I'm very comfortable with a crop and, like you said, a wide leg pant or a bodycon with a ruche. So, because for 35 years, you know, it was very much how much can I cover of myself. And so now, and then especially talking about swimwear, like pool wear, because I love going to a pool, but I know my friends don't know how hard it is for me to go swimming with them because none of them are plus size. And I don't even think they realize that I am literally exposing myself to you in a way that you will never understand,
right?
Because you don't have you're just not walking through life like that,
right?
Which is not to diminish how anyone walks through life, because you can be small and still have insecurities. But
you just can't relate because you're not in a fat body. You're not a fat person in a fat body, so it's hard. And like, but then when you see someone else in a fat body like living their best life, you're like, wait a minute,
That was an option. I didn't know crop tops were an option.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that two-piece bikini was
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they still don't make them
too
for me
could
because
get
I got
that.
titties. But one day y'all gonna get on board and start making plus size girls. Some of us have breasts.
Yeah.
We also have fat stomachs and fat titties,
Yes.
and we would like to wear.
The swimsuits.
Yes, we
swimsuits.
do want to wear them.
Yeah.
I would.
I think this is just a testament to representation. I think you touched on it a little bit too, and I think that's why we've always pushed Tasha to be, you know, on her social media thing, because social media, it can abuse you if you let it.
Yeah.
It can push all of these American, European, whatever you want to call them, beauty standards on you. But something I think that has really made a difference for me is that I have told my media what I wanted to do. So when I see people that don't resonate with me, if I see what's the Madison Bear or one of the Emilio twins and she's dancing in a bikini on my TikTok, I'm thumbing it down. Those aren't the images I want to see. Respectfully, those aren't the things that make me happy and bring me joy.
Right.
And I think if more people spent more time curating their media, like there's some things that I just don't see on my Twitter, on my TikTok, on my Facebook. That's a different story. But there's just some things that I just don't see because I don't allow for that to permeate into my timeline. And so I think one of my biggest tips, if we can actually run back to that, is curate the kind of existence. So if you live in a place where you feel like you don't have a Tasha, you don't have a Christina, it's just you, then create your own community. Because the one thing I will say about that I have found on TikTok versus I've been on Instagram, 10 years. I've been on Facebook probably from 31, probably 15, 16 years. The minute they said you could get one.
How she just tried to call us old bitches?
Yeah, because my time on both of those is like way beyond that. So.
I can only be who I am. I was born in 91.
And he was calling us old as hell.
Calling us old bitches.
I can only be, if you had to call me to ask me how to work the TikTok, are you an old bitch? Okay. So...
Excuse me if I don't know how to do a transition.
That's for my yawn. If I know how to stitch, excuse me. But I think that was the biggest thing that unlocked weight loss for me. I didn't see fat girls in the gym here. I didn't until actually I started going all the time and all these different times. And I'm like, where'd you heifers come from? But it was one of those things where I had to see girls, in the gym in their cute little matching outfits, doing the work. And so that when I got in the gym and I was the only girl in my cute little, matching hot pink 2-piece and I'm standing out because I have this big curly hair and I got on this bright ass outfit. Good day. And
she got it done. She got it done.
So
she got it done. She got it done. She got it done. She got it. Okay.
I'm sorry. We're going to stop picking on you.
This is going to make me foaming.
We've been picking on you so bad.
We don't own.
Miss me.
We don't own the rights to that, but it's true.
Because
I don't see you enough.
And I did miss you as well. Yes, we did. We did miss you.
But I think it's if you don't have the community.
The shade.
If you don't have the community, here's
shade this episode.
This is about to be a 3-hour.
Listen, I was on my way.
But we love this for us.
I was on my way here. You was texting me, where the fuck you at? You booked this space in a holiday weekend. Good day.
Good.
How long have you been black in Cincinnati? Come on, you know better.
I don't go to the Jazz Fest.
Just because you don't go don't mean you ain't get caught up.
Fantasia, I'm not going.
It's Snoop Dogg tonight, actually.
Oh, at the Jazz Fest?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take it. It's fine. Shout out Snoop.
Something said, but it smells. And okay, anyway.
Okay.
Just pick it. I'm gonna leave all this. Well, not all of it in here, but most of it. It's gonna be our first. It's our inaugural 2-hour episode.
Yeah. Shout out to us.
Shout out to us.
But no, create the environment that you want to see. Be the good that you want to see in the world. You have to, sometimes if you don't have the community, you have to build it.
Yeah.
And the thing that I will say about a lot of creators on TikTok, because you do get rewarded when you interact with people, I think that people are more prone to be more interactive. And so I've been able to really reach out to some great like stretch coaches and just all these people in this different realm that I wasn't able to have access to. So I say that to say, if you are struggling with, finding out what does the summer fashion choices look like for me? What does play look like in my wardrobe? What does fun look like for the summertime? Follow those influencers, especially the ones that, even if their style isn't 100% something that you would wear, if they make you feel good when you watch their videos. Blue is a great resource, is somebody to follow. I think that she really is creating content that a lot of people can relate to. And again, if you see somebody that looks like you, looking drop dead gorgeous in a string bikini, you're going to be less likely to walk past that bikini the next time you see it, especially if it's, in your size or workable. Because, if it's nothing a big girl will do is make something.
We're gonna shove it in.
Shove it in. And so, to create your community, I think that's my biggest choice. If you don't have it for summer, I think that is, my call out, my to do.
And something we're going to start doing as we evolve and the next sector, and I was talking with Tasha about this earlier. We're talking I feel like the next move for us is we are going to have several conversations about representation and what that looks like and what it doesn't look like and the harm or the good that it's done. But we're also going to start showing up in those spaces where representation could be better. So, we're going to start doing maybe some get ready with me's for someone who's not a fashion girly, or get ready with what am I trying to
Get ready with
me's. in different, we're all different heights. We might all be 18, 20s, but it don't look the same on all of us. And so seeing what those things look like, and start pushing our content out there, it's just be another one of the many, because there are many people who are starting to create.
All right, friends. So we're back. We had a little technical difficulty, so we had a little readjust. You see our friend Christina is missing. That's because she's monitoring the camera right now.
Yeah.
So we are going to... like, why are you waving at me? We're going to wrap this episode up. I think you guys got the point of what we were saying in terms of like building your own community is a really great way to boost representation in your direct circle. But I did want to give our special guest Blue a chance to give her shout out.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really important. And it's really important right now because we discussed how much representation matters. And so I think it's really important for her to give her shout out. So let us tell you what that is.
So I really want to shout out, say her name?
Michelle Buteau.
Okay, because I don't want to chop it. The Survival of the Thickest. Also shout out just Netflix for even like just giving the platform for that show, first of all. But also her because she is like one of the funniest, like relatable fat representation that we like have right now. And I love that for her. Like she is the host of The Circle. She is in, what's the other show that she's in that she's in another show. We'll circle back to that. With some girlfriends. The First Wives Club. Yeah. Okay. So thanks, Christina. First Wives Club. Love that show. And then Survival of the Thickest really just like spoke to like everything that I feel like as a plus size woman, like my life is right now, just like fashion and queerness and being in a space and finding who you are, really loving yourself. And then not only that, but she's the same age as me in the show, which is I'll be 38 this year. She's like just single. Like, I mean, it's like speaking to middle-aged fat women everywhere. And I love that for us. I do. So definitely big shout out to her because in the worst way, it was needed right now.
I love that. And I love that you were able to see like pieces of yourself because there's so many more people who will see pieces of themselves in the show, in the series. I'm also really glad to see not just a discourse coming on about a fat relationship, but the fashions. She's adjusting up some microphones for us. But the fashions were front and center, almost in like a very like Sex in the City kind of way.
Yeah.
And so I love to see like, what is it? Fashion Bomb Daily. Like I love to see them being like, this is what Michelle wore in this episode. This is what she wore in this episode. And I love to see that because I think for so long we haven't got that in a plus size body. Granted, we have had Nicole Byer as plus size representation on Netflix for a very long time in the comedy stand-up sector and nailed it. And I think to have somebody in a, what is it? Fiction? Is it fictional? Yeah, fictional is fake. Nonfiction is real. There we go. See, shout out to my English teacher. In a fictional story that we're able to tell just something that's still connected and grounded, but not necessarily just in like a reality standpoint.
For sure.
So I'm really, really glad. We're really grateful that we get that representation. We're really glad that Netflix has decided to not only produce a show, but advertise it. Now, as far as the strike is concerned, all three of us, I can say, I'm sure we stand for anybody who's trying to get their money. But they haven't called for a consumer strike as of right now. So you can still watch and support the show. And please make sure you do, because the more of these kind of shows that we watch and support, the more of these kind of shows that we will get. Yeah. So, if you just want to leave it on for the dog or for the puppers, if you've already watched it once or twice, definitely do that, because as many shifts as we can get for her is definitely what we want.
Absolutely.
So shout out to Michelle.
Yeah.
Shout out to Netflix, and shout out to the whole cast of Survival of the Thickest.
Absolutely.
We are so excited to see what you do and what you do from here.
Yep.
And with our shout out, that's going to conclude the show for today. If you want to hear Christina and I shout outs, we're going to post those on our socials. So you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at the Body Representation Series. And you can find us on our website and our YouTube as well at the Body Representation Series. Anywhere that you can find podcasts is where you'll be able to find the audio version of this. So if you want to send it to a friend, especially one that you know is a podcast lover, definitely send them our way. Yeah. And we'll drop that mini episode here in the next few days or weeks or so. We'll let you know. So definitely follow us again, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and our full-size website. We do a corresponding shoot for every episode. Last year, we shot our kind of first, like, penultimate series, and it was all around swimwear and bodies in swimwear, and that is a really, really, really great collection of interviews. So make sure you can find those. You can find the shortened versions on our Instagram at the Body Representation Series, but definitely head to our website to get those full-size versions. Those are where we really get into the meat, and you really get to see people's perspectives. I think those are the most important parts. So definitely make sure you check us out at the Body Representation Series on all your socials, all your podcast platforms, and our website. And we will see you next time for our next discussion.
We want to thank you again for listening. You can find us anywhere you do social media at the Body Representation Series. You can also learn more about the series itself and see a little bit more about us at www.thebodyrepresentationseries.com. We thank you, and we can't wait to talk to you again soon.